Great Britain comes to Australia for this year's Ashes series after an undefeated three-match tour of Papua New Guinea. Spearheading the British assault is the legendary Ellery Hanley, arguably the world's greatest player. He's back along with some other familiar faces such as Schofield, Afire and Andy Gregory. Taking on the British is the Queensland Residents, who are selected from the 8 teams in this year's Winfield State League. State of Origin selection is the next step up for the Queensland Residents side, who are being led by Brisbane's Craig Groff and Townsville's Kevin Marty. Tonight, the Queenslanders will be out to destroy the mother country as the battle for Australia begins on Win. Good evening and welcome to the Townsville Sports Reserve, the scene of tonight's clash between Great Britain, the opening game on their Australian tour, and the Winfield Queensland side. I'm Ian Chapman, and beside me I have Jason Costigan and Barry Gomersall. Jason Costigan, you'll be calling the game in the main. How do you see it running?
Of course, the Queensland side, selected from Queensland Rugby League competitions this season, dominated by Brisbane players, but a couple of Queensland, North Queensland players in there. It's good to see they're in the side. The key player for Queensland is Craig Groff. He's the halfback. He'll be the one that they'll look to ignite the Queensland attack.
Thanks, Jason. Barry Gomersall, a legendary referee and always controversial. Looking forward to the game?
Certainly, Ian. I think this is going to be a big game for Great Britain as well. It's their opening match of the Australian tour. They just snuck home against Papua New Guinea, so they need to win big and handsomely here tonight to put test spots up for line 2. Apparently there's a few positions vacant, so they'll be playing their hearts out, and they need a big win here tonight to build the crowds up for the rest of the tour and to give Australia any sort of competition.
The Queensland side has got a big game in front of them, and you're going to see it all right here on Win.
In Soil as part of this 1992 Ashes tour of Papua New Guinea, Australia and New Zealand, and at fullback for Great Britain tonight is Joe Lydon. He's a late inclusion in the side. The wingers are Graham Hallis and Alan Hunt. The centres are Gary Connolly, only a young fella. He's in there partnering Kevin Ellis. The halves are Sean Edwards and Andy Gregory, two very experienced customers. Gregory also the captain, of course. The prop for Great Britain is Ian Lucas and Neil Cowie. The hooker is Lee Jackson. In the second row are Carl Fairbank and John Devereaux, and the lock forward is Billy McGinty. The coach, Malcolm Reilly. So the Great Britain side all fired up for a big performance tonight after a pretty lacklustre win over the Papua New Guinea Kumals in Port Moresby last Sunday, only getting home by 20 points to 14 in the one-off test. So plenty of team spirit there, as we can see. So the Maroons making their way out. And the crowd certainly getting behind them. The Winfield Queensland side. And at fullback for Queensland is Brett Schultz from Gatton. The wingers are Troy White and Gerard Kerr. The centres, Peter Hamilton from Bundaberg. He's partnering Kenny Robertson from Brisbane. The halves, Jason Hetherington and Craig Groff. Craig also the captain tonight. The prop forwards for Queensland, Eric Kennedy and Bradley Pike. The hooker, Kevin Marty, he's also vice-captain. The second rowers are Steele Retchless and Matthew Clifford. The lock forward, Craig Spark. The Queensland coach from Rockhampton, Ross O'Reilly. And referee John Willey has the honours tonight. He's from Townsville, the 41-year-old business manager in charge of proceedings. Queensland defending the Castle Hill end of the Townsville Sports Reserve. Play gets underway in the tour opener in Down Under. And it's been knocked back by Andy Gregory. The crowd starts to roar as John Devereaux, the Welshman, takes it forward for Great Britain. The first hit up. Anxious moments there for the Great Britain side as they get the play outside their own 22-metre line. The hit-up's coming now from Ian Lucas. The big fella is taken in good Queensland defence. And around the legs there was the lock forward, Craig Spark. Carl Fairbank now for Great Britain. He plays it back for Jackson. Gregory, chip over the top. He's trying to get through. Bit of an act perhaps as he takes a dive. The referee lets play continue. It's been dived on by a Queensland player. And Barry Gomersall, an exciting start to the international.
Yeah, an exciting start, all right. Andy Gregory, dead set, took a dive. Then he was looking for the sucker penalty, but referee Willie didn't fall for it.
There's big defence coming in there. Marty looking for some runners. Comes across to Groff. Hetherington, dummies, goes across now to the centres. Kenny Robertson, the Brisbane South centres, wrapped up ball and all, goes back to Marty. They attack the blind side. Groff beats one, but he's jammed there in great British defence. Final tackle for Queensland, 5th and final. Marty from dummy half, kicking for touch, and finds it. And Ian Chapman, a good kick there from the Townsville hooker.
Okay, I hear that.
And the scrum packs, Great Britain come away with it. Gregory gets it away. They take it to the 22-metre line. Edwards, Connolly, quick hands from the British. They swing it wide. Great pace, but great cover defence. In fact, the boos come in as Robertson affects the tackle. Away from dummy half is Kevin Ellis. Taken by Robertson, and also in there is the Queensland winger, Gerard Kerr. The British now on the attack. It goes to the prop forward, and Neil Cowie from the Wigan club. And he's arguing there with the defence. Comes out to Gregory, back inside. They find a couple of runners there. Great defence from Queensland. Once more, Bradley Pike there, the defender. The kick from the British is charged down. And it's 6 to go, says referee John Willey. Taken by Gary Connolly, the lanky centre for Great Britain. Edwards feeds it on to Graham Hallis, the winger from Hull Kingston Rovers. Only about 4 metres short of the halfway line. Lucas. Gregory runs the football, looking dangerous, linking up with a runner. Looks like Great Britain's lost it. Knock forward is the referee ruling. And a scrum to pack just inside Queensland territory. So the scrum screwing around. Andy Gregory, shake of the head. A tight head scrum win, in fact, Barry Gummersall.
The tight head scrum win there, but thanks to the second row. I think he kicked it back into the Great Britain side, which Andy Gregory said thanks very much.
He sure did. A bit of a smile there on the Wigan halfback as Great Britain go on the attack. That's Carl Fairbank, or rather the lock forward, Billy McGinty. Lucas, driven back by the Queenslanders. Pike doing the tackling. Gregory fires out to Edwards, the run around, long cut-out pass now. The centre's combining, it goes across to Hallis. And Ian Chapman is speaking with the Queensland coach.
That's right, Jason. I've got Ross O'Reilly here beside me. How is the team morale before taking the field, Ross?
Oh, there's a few nerves there. A few of the young guys are a bit nervous, but we've had a good start to the game. We've held them for a couple of sets of 6. And that will certainly give them a fair bit of confidence out there.
Got any plans for early changes?
Play on. It's going to be a penalty to Great Britain, and the referee, there's a bit of biff going on. A couple of players, quite a few players coming in, voicing their concern at the decision. Brett Schultz going high for the ball. So the crowd certainly getting involved and getting behind the Queensland side.
Actually, I thought that was a bit unlucky there for the Queenslanders, Jason. I think they took the fullback out of play there before he was anywhere near the ball, and I believe Queensland should have got the penalty.
Yeah, and I'm sure about 5,000 other people might agree with you, Barry Gummersall. But nevertheless, the penalty has been awarded to the Lions, and Joe Lydon will have a very, very easy shot at goal. So he should be able to throw this one over a couple of steps, but it's a shocker. Waved away to the delight of the big crowd here at the Townsville Sports Reserve. They can't believe it.
Looks like the kicking game in Papua New Guinea is back in Townsville.
So you don't normally see that from Joe Lydon. Very experienced customer indeed. 24 tests for the Lions. But 0-0 the score remains. We've had 6 minutes of play and immediately a mistake from the Great Britain side. Graham Hallis has coughed up the football. It's been picked up by the Queenslanders. Oh, what a tackle. Very, very high. And fists are going everywhere.
There's a fair bit of feeling out there in this match, Jason. You can see that a couple of minutes ago they were fiery.
Yeah,
now there's another incident, and this will take some handling if he doesn't settle it down.
We have a look here on the replay. This is a good angle. Neil Cowie, the prop forward from Wigan, going very high. Referee John Willie laying down the law. He's awarded the penalty. And Ian Chapman, could you see that?
I didn't get to see too much of that at all, Jason. It looked like a high tackle from over here. The crowd's very upset about the whole situation, but the penalty seems to have calmed it all down.
So Craig Groff kicks for touch for Queensland. The Brisbane North halfback finds touch about 26 metres out from the Great Britain line. Muddy to take the tap restart. Groff gives it to the prop forward in Bradley Pike. And he's driven back. Solid British defence once more. 7 minutes gone. 0-all is the scoreline. Set move from the Queenslanders. Groff trying to go through a gap there, but it's sealed very quickly. Marty, his first receiver, hands it on to Matthew Clifford, his North Queensland teammate, but he's taken there. Marty gives it to Kennedy. Marty, Groff, Clifford standing. Queensland player coming through very fast in Brett Schultz. Has to go back into position. Groff with the up and under. Not a bad kick at all. It's gone loose. It's been picked up by Gerard Kerr. 6 to go is the ruling. So more pressure on Great Britain, Barry Gummersall.
Certainly is. Joe Lydon missed that one. He went up high for the ball and missed it. Now they wouldn't get off the play of the ball ruck, and referee Willie had no choice but to penalise Great Britain.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Barry, this is very much professional football from Great Britain. They're not getting off the Queenslanders with any sense of urgency whatsoever. They're taking their time, and really, this is frustrating both sides, but of course the Queenslanders.
They'll take their time. It's tactics on their part. They're upsetting, they're trying to unsettle the young Queenslanders, but this should be 2 points for us. If these tactics won't work the further south they get, because that could have been termed a professional foul there by holding that.
For sure,
you see here again.
You can see the kick from Groff. Not a bad one at all, as we said. The ball going loose. Kerr picking it up and putting the pressure on the British. So the goal kicker for Queensland, Gerard Kerr, now with a chance to open the scoring. Of course, he scored 62 points in 5 Winfield State League games this season for the Brisbane Capitals, and that included a fantastic performance for that Brisbane side in the State League final of '92. So Kerr has it set. The Queensland winger moves in, he races the flags. A shock lead to Queensland, 2-0. We'll take a break and return soon to the Townsville Sports Reserve. And Queensland now running it back, the prop forward. Very slow Queensland to acknowledge the quick restart from Great Britain. Bradley Pike takes the tackle. And Ian Chapman, a good start there for the Queensland side.
Absolutely. Everybody in the grandstand very happy to see those points go over the bar there. And it looks like we're in for quite a game tonight.
And Barry, 10 minutes of play gone. You surprised at the start of this match?
No, not really. I thought Great Britain would have come out with a bit more urgency. They seem to be taking their time. I just don't know what's going on, whether they're just settling in and we'll open up later on. But maybe it's the Queensland defence. They're not giving them much room either.
Well, we've seen a mistake there. And a scrum to pack midway between the Queensland 22-metre line and the halfway line. 10 minutes of play gone as Andy Gregory works the scrum. Gets it back. They attack the blind side. The ball's turned back inside to Alan Hunt. He runs right around the back of the scrum as there's a bit of biff going on from the scrum. They swing it wide. It goes to Hallis. Hallis, they keep it alive. It comes back to Ellis. Kevin Ellis, only about 5 metres out. Great Britain now with a chance to score a try. McGinty, the lock forward. Jackson to Gregory. Gives it to the second rower and Carl Fairbank. Fairbank about 4 metres out. This will test the Queensland defence. Gregory taps it back, stacks on the mill. Really poor hands there from the Great Britain side.
That was woeful. That's not test football, that stuff. Andy Gregory expected the pass on his chest. It didn't come to that. It came behind him, so he just tried to tap it on, which didn't work. Yeah,
Malcolm really going into this game saying he wanted better ball handling after the effort against the Coomels. The ball going to ground. So a mistake from the British has Queensland running it out from the deep inside their own 22-metre line. Willie tells them to get back on side. Solid run there from the Queenslanders.
I just wonder if Andy Gregory's got an injury, Jason. He's outside centre at the moment. Since that scrum, he didn't chase the ball around or chase his opposite halfback around. He stayed out there and he's walked back to this position. He's now at inside centre position.
Well, Barry's only played 40 minutes of football since Wembley, and so there must be some concern over his fitness.
Well, he's walking again now, as you can see, so I doubt if you'll see another 40, and if this keeps up.
Yeah, he was a little bit worried about his groin coming off the plane there the other night, but it could be a telling factor in the end tonight. So Great Britain will play it. Hallis, Edwards, surging run there. Jackson gives it to Gregory. Gregory's taken by his opposite number, the Queensland captain Craig Groff. Also on the tackle was Matthew Clifford. Sean Edwards, the Test 5'8", or the veteran 5'8", competing with Gary Schofield, although Schofield might be pushed out to the centres. Final tackle, Gregory out to the fullback, and Lydon puts up a high ball. Well, they let it bounce. Great Britain told to get onside. It's been picked up by Kerr. Mitch strongly there, and after 12 minutes of play, Queensland still leading 2-0 in Chapman. Marty gives it back to Pike. Pike takes it towards the halfway line. Slow play of the ball. Attack the blind side. Clifford now. He's hammered by the British. Driven across field. Marty. Groff. Hetherington stepping. Tries to go through Edwards. And he's wrestled there by 3 of the tourists. Final tackle for Queensland. Groff. The kick downfield is taken on the full by Lydon. And he gives it back to Hallis, the winger, who's come in from the flank. Jackson. Carl Fairbank. And the referee
has a blood bin.
Yeah, has called us halt to proceedings. John Willey allowing time for the Queensland player, the injured player, to leave the field. Gerard Kerr being assisted from the field by the Queensland trainer, and a replacement warming up, Ian Chapman.
Yes, we've got Neil Smith on the ground, Jason, number 15, the reserve back, taking the field.
Yeah, very accomplished player, Neil Smith, Barry Gummersall from Central Queensland.
Yeah, he's had a darn good season so far this year, and I think he's very happy to be out there early in the game too.
Final tackle for Great Britain, only a couple of metres short of the halfway line. It goes back to Edwards, a hurried kick, and a good take from Groff. He plays it back to young Brett Schultz. Only 19 years of age is Brett Schultz from the Gatton Club in Toowoomba. Hello to all our fans down there tonight. Marty sends it out to Groff. The run around with Marty. It goes to Robertson. He's on the charge, trying to bust through the British defence, but again they hold firm and they put him to ground 3 metres short of the halfway line. Groff sends it out the back line. Schultz getting involved again. He's
Good
upended
defence
this time though. Good defensive work there from Connolly. Groff kicking downfield for Queensland. Taken by Lydon. He runs it back. He beats one. But good chasing there from Hetherington and also Kennedy. Hunt. And the St Helens winger's taken about 32 out from his own line. It comes across to Cowie. And Ian Chapman, a few things happening down there on the sideline perhaps.
Yeah, it looks like Gerard Kerr's got a fairly nasty gash on the side of his head, which is not good for the Queensland residents, being the try-scoring and goal-kicking phenomenon that he is. Mind you, we've got plenty of strength here on the bench with guys like Martin Bella's brother, Steve Bella, and also Paul Fisher and others warming up, ready to go on.
Yes, and a great take there from Schultz, and another heavy tackle on the young Clydesdale's fullback. Willie saying it took him around the shoulders. He's certainly feeling the effects of that tackle. Neil Smith on the field for Queensland in jersey number 15 with his first touch. Inside the 5 is the ruling. Penalty goes to Queensland. Bradley Pike harassed by Great Britain players inside the 5 metres, and this will certainly relieve the pressure on Queensland, Barry Gummersall.
Certainly will. I'm pretty happy with the way Queensland have played so far, Jason. Their chasing game and their pressure game has been a lot better than that of Great Britain. So we've seen 2 kicks charged down, which means the Queensland players, as soon as they're on that 5th tackle, they're chasing the kicker, and they're applying more pressure. They've had better of the game territorially so far.
Groff sends it out to the second rower for Queensland in Steele Retchless, but he's copped it up. The Great Britain side quick to capitalise, but Connolly doesn't go too far. Good defence from Hetherington. Edwards sends it out to the lock forward in McGinty. Billy McGinty's tackled on the halfway line. The runners are coming through, but Lucas well offside there. Quick play of the ball from the British. Gregory goes himself, gives it to Edwards. The two halves combining. 2-0 is the scoreline. Queensland leading Great Britain here at the Townsville Sports Reserve as Gregory turns it back inside to a teammate in Neil Cowie, but he's lost it forward, and Queensland come up with possession once more.
I don't think Cowie would have appreciated that pass from Gregory, because it was what was termed a hospital pass. He had 2 blokes sweating on him as soon as he got that.
Yeah, Townsville General Hospital special, that one. John Devereaux is certainly pumped up for Great Britain tonight, as Clifford plays it back for Marty. Goes to Craig Spark from the Ipswich club in Brisbane. He plays it back. Groff, Hetherington, the centre now for Queensland. A high tackle on Peter Hamilton. Again around the chest is the ruling. Well, a different interpretation to you, perhaps, Barry Gummersall?
No, I think that was fair enough. His arm's gone up over his left shoulder. It was quite okay, that tackle, I thought.
All right, not a bad kick there from Queensland. Eric Kennedy putting boot to ball. The crowd starting to get quite vocal. And a good chasing game there from the Queenslanders. Neil Smith leading the way. Lucky not to concede the penalty, perhaps. And no possibility of Gerard Kerr coming back into the game, Ian?
It looks like that, Jason. It looks like he may actually be back on. They've done some quick stitching, a bit of taping, and he's very keen to get back on the field. They're going to take their time with him, let him rest for a little while, but it does look like he'll be back in the game at some stage.
Well, that's good news for Queensland. The only point scorer in the match to date after 20 minutes of play. The Maroons up by 2 points to 0 as the kick comes in there from Lee Jackson.
Well, that should be a penalty. He's played the
play
advantage.
on. Referee is calling play on. Connolly's coming through for the try. Schultz, or rather the winger for Queensland, Troy White, saves the day. The Rockhampton North winger just back in time. Barry Gummersall thought the referee would call play up, but referee John Willey letting the play continue.
Yeah, he played advantage there. They were that penalty would have been about 10 metres out. As you see the ball now, if he let it play for that advantage, had Britain have landed on that ball first, it would have been try time. So
Yeah.
advantage-wise, there's a goal line dropout, so Great Britain get the ball back in about the same position as what the penalty would have been.
So from the goal line restart, a boomer it is. Juggled, knocked back is the ruling, and a fair one at that. Hallis. Cowie makes about 5 before he's tackled by Pike and Marty. They attack the blind side. Good run there from Lucas. Only played 1 test for Great Britain, Lucas. He'll be keen to get into that side. Sean Edwards running the ball. Great Britain looking dangerous. Gregory wants it. He gets it. Cut-out pass. Finds Connolly. This is try time for Great Britain. The first try of the match. Graham Hallis in the corner. And the Lions lead by 4 points to 2. So Great Britain there. Gregory called for it. It went out to Connolly. And Hallis just diving over out wide. And that was great teamwork.
Gregory called for that then. He saw they were short out wide. He threw that cut-out pass. It was 2-on-1 then, and there was nothing you can do about that. It's a good pass and 4 points to Great Britain.
Okay. So the Great Britain side now trying to convert their own try. So took them 22 minutes to score the first try in the match. So Queensland has done exceptionally well. Sean Edwards looking to add the extras, but no goal. We'll take a break, return soon here to the Townsville Sports Reserve. Queensland now looking to hit back as soon as possible. They're only down by 2 points. They've done very, very well to date. Cowie to place it back just inside the Great Britain 22-metre line. They've lost it. And a good opportunity now for the Queensland side, Ian Chapman.
Yes, indeed it is. They're up on the line there. It's looking fairly solid on the British camp, but all the reserves looking fairly relaxed. Indeed, we don't even have anybody directing the reserves on at this stage, so they're pretty confident.
Well, the crowd starting to get behind the local hero there, Matthew Clifford from Tully. He plays it back for Marty, and a penalty to Queensland inside the 5.
I think there might have been someone having a chat to referee Willie there on that occasion, because the 5 metres look pretty good to me at this stage from where we're sitting.
Andy Gregory not impressed Barry Gummersall. They're having quite a deal to say to Mr. John Willie.
Well, that's the best way to stop the back chat on the paddock, because if they won't stop, well, you just find a couple of points and you find the back chat will cut down a lot now.
So Gerard Kerr back on the field for Queensland, and he's hoping now to lock up the ball game. So Gerard Kerr should have no trouble with this one. So the crowd coming to life as Queensland now have a chance to level the scores in the 24th minute. All is set. Hush around the ground. He moves in and misses it. One flag up, one waved away, but he certainly missed it, Barry Gummersall.
He certainly did, and the touch judge on that particular post put his flag up, and thank heavens the touch judge that he wasn't covering that post waved it away, because it missed by about 1.5 feet.
For sure, the touch judges involved already in this match. So Queensland missed their chance to level the scores as Schultz gets it back to the halfway line. So really the tackle there on Gerard Kerr perhaps having some effect, Ian Chapman.
That's right. It's certainly looking that way from over here, Jason. I'll go back to you.
Kerr, or rather Groff, gets it out to Pike. Kennedy's lost it. Stacks on the mill. Well, it's come back to Connolly, the centre for Great Britain. So Queensland have lost possession. Connolly will play it back for Lee Jackson. Gregory. The big fellas wind up. This is the prop forward for the British in Howie. Edwards away from dummy half. He beat one in Matthew Clifford, but he's been finished off by Hetherington just short of the halfway line. They're looking for the blind side. Here comes a runner in the lock forward for Great Britain, McGinty. Fairbank on the charge. The Lions second rower bumps off one, but Marty sticks to him like glue. Final tackle for the Lions. It goes back to Lydon. He puts the kick in, and it's a good kick too. Forces Troy White to go back. He picks it up on the bounce, and they look well inside the 10, Barry.
They were certainly well inside. They were only about 5 metres away from that one. They can't complain about that.
Yeah, you'd think he'd been bitten by a shark and they were rushing to his rescue. They've found touch, the Queenslanders, just short of the halfway line. Queensland leading the penalty count at this stage, 5-1. So the Great Britain side wouldn't be too happy with that situation at the moment. 5-1, the Maroons up on the penalties. Pike takes it forward. He's tackled there by Fairbank and also Edwards. Groff, Hetherington. The two halves getting together. Played a lot of football this year with the Brisbane Capitals side. Very, very slow play of the ball. The referee hoping for the penalty.
It wasn't 6-1 after that.
The ball's turned back inside to the lock forward for Queensland. Craig Spark, he's still going Spark. He's having a great game. A blinder, surging ahead, makes about 20 metres. A tremendous run from the Ipswich Jets back rower. Marty over the top for Groff. Groff back inside. No, he dummies. He bumps off one. He's still going, the little Queensland captain. Final tackle for the Maroons. Hetherington with the bomb. The pressure is on Hallis. He's lost it. Is it a try to Queensland? It is. I think it's Troy White. The crowd has gone wild.
Well, it was a great piece of football there. Hetherington put up the perfect bomb. It came down in the end goal area. Whoever was there, I forget who it was, he's lost the ball.
Yeah, Peter Hamilton from Bundaberg comes up with a try for Queensland, and the Maroons hit the lead. Look at this on the replay. The Queensland centre comes up with a try from the Hetherington bomb. It had to be taken cleanly. The perfect bomb indeed. And Hamilton scores the try just inside the dead ball line.
Very close. Lucky it wasn't any narrow that dead ball line, but that was an excellent try and from a perfect bomb.
So Hetherington, the hero there for Ian Chapman, and a change warming up Ian Chapman.
That's right, Jason. It looks like Paul Newlove, who I understood was carrying an injury, is warming up to come on for Great Britain. He's a reserve back and plays for the Rovers in the Old Dart. He's actually played 5 tests before too, so quite an impact player.
Okay, so Ian Chapman keeping us well informed as to what's happening. Mel really hoping to bring about a couple of changes after Queensland hitting back very well to score that try. (6-4) Queensland lead as they try to go further ahead. The kick is wide. Score remains Queensland 6, Great Britain 4. We'll take a break, return soon to the Townsville Sports Reserve. The job ahead of them, Barry Gummersall, letting that try in.
They certainly have got the game ahead of them now. There's a lot more urgency in Queensland's play than what there is Great Britain's. Queensland's play, the kicking game's been excellent. They've kept them down the other end of the field and the pressure's paid off.
Schultz takes it cleanly, gets it back to the prop forward for Queensland in Bradley Pike. He gets it out of the danger zone. Marty at dummy half. Groff onto the centre for Queensland, and Peter Hamilton, the try scorer, the hero for Queensland. The only Wide Bay Bulls player selected in this Maroons lineup for tonight's match. Marty gets it onto Kennedy. Only just over 10 minutes to go in the first half. The Maroons up in this match. Very much a surprise scoreline at the moment. The kick looking good. Just picked up in the field of play. Lydon plays it back. Penalty goes to Great Britain inside the 5, Queensland, Ian Chapman.
Play that came off was Hallis, the winger. It looks like he's done some damage to his knees, packed it in some ice. Meanwhile, the North Queenslanders looking fairly relaxed over here. Indeed, the whole Queensland side seems to have settled down reasonably well. Interesting to note that the fastest man in rugby league, Martin Afire, is actually running the water bottles at this stage.
Yeah, so the Great Britain side won't be found wanting, as there will certainly be some water out there very quickly if a player goes down.
Not wrong.
McGinty takes it forward for the Lions. Another penalty goes to Great Britain.
They're reefing the ball out there on that occasion, but they're 2 timely penalties for Great Britain. They were, once again, with Queensland's kicking game, they were kept down in their own quarter, and they were having trouble getting out because the Queensland defence is picking up as the game gets longer, and those 2 penalties will be greatly received by Great Britain.
They sure will, and they have a chance now to regain the lead, the British. Cowie takes it forward. Standing in the tackle, pops the pass back to nobody. They should maintain possession. Jackson picks up the scraps. .22 metres out from the Queensland 9. Well, this is a great run there.
Well, Great Britain should score on this occasion. They feed it out to the left-hand side here.
Edwards only a couple of metres out. Final tackle for the British. Gregory will be keen to get the football. He's going to be first receiver. He's going to line up the wing, and oh, it's a shocker of a pass.
And it went forward. And I think he's penalised him. Yes, he has. A forward pass there, deliberate forward pass, and the penalty goes to Queensland.
Andy Gregory can't believe it.
Oh.
We look on the replay, Gregory fires it out to nobody, really.
Well, even on that angle, you can see it's well forward. The correct ruling there by referee John Willie.
So he's certainly a little bit rusty, the Wigan halfback. Queensland has found touch. Just right in front of this big crowd on one side of the field, the western side, as the Queenslanders come away with it. Pike takes it forward. Kennedy gets it to about 10 metres short of the halfway line. 8 minutes to go till half-time. Marty gets it to Groff, back inside. Big defence coming in there from the British prop forward. Neil Cowie, superb tackle indeed. What a hit. Wushka, we look on the replay, he takes it forward, but bang, what a tackle. You don't come any see any better than that. Welcome to big time rugby league. And a crowd gets behind the Queenslanders there as Paul Newlove is harassed just inside the touchline. It comes across to Cowie, who effected that tremendous tackle there a couple of short time ago. Gregory runs the ball, gets the pass away to John Devereaux, but he's put it to ground. Queensland come up with it. Groff, Spark, it's been lost forward. Troy White has lost it, and Ian Chapman, Troy White is limping there.
Yes, but I think he'll be all right. He's just got to loosen that one up a bit. He'll be okay. A little bit of attention going to him now. Meanwhile, I've got some statistics over here. The tackle count for the English side is looking good for Andy Gregory and Carl Fairbank. They're leading the way. On the yardage, they don't really want to talk about it. Back to you, Jason.
Okay, Sean Edwards now. Long cut-out pass. It goes across there to Hallis. Hallis claps on the pace, but he's mowed down. That was good. Gary Connolly trying to get the ball away. The British now on the attack. Gregory slips a pass back to nobody. He's having a shocker tonight.
Yeah, I think Malcolm Riley will be looking at bringing Edwards into the halfback position and probably Lydon into 5'8" in the second half if he's going to do anything with this match.
Devereaux to play just outside the 22-metre line. Gregory with another kick. This time it's picked up brilliantly by Schultz. Was chased very hard there by his opposite number in Joe Lydon. Kick it and the play of the ball.
That could possibly have been a penalty to Great Britain, and it is. Joe Lydon kicked that ball. He tried to follow it through, and the marker just pulled him down to prevent him chasing the ball.
Yeah, we look on the replay. Schultz taken hard there by his opposite number. But the British now with a chance perhaps to kick for goal, and that's exactly what Andy Gregory has decided to do. So the crowd voicing their frustration and disappointment of that John Willie decision. But, Barry
well, there's nothing wrong with that decision, Jason. It was a fair decision. There's nothing else he could have done in that position. He's having quite a good game at this stage. His 5 metres is good. The game looked like it was going to be a bit fiery on the early parts, but he's kept it under control. He's cut the back chat out with that penalty to Queensland in front of the post, and he's letting the game run. He's not out there showing that he knows what the rule book's all about.
Yeah, for sure, but he certainly hasn't won any fans here tonight.
Well, I know what the feeling's like.
Chance now for Great Britain to lock up the ball game. John Devereaux has missed it again. No goal. The crowd rejoices. Queensland now are going to make a fatal mistake.
Well, that's bad football. First tackling out over the touchline. He should have gone down earlier or cut back inside. Yeah,
silly play indeed.
No excuse for that.
More pressure on the Queenslanders. So this Great Britain leading the scrum count at the moment to the tune of 3-1, and it should be 4-1 with the Lions having loose head and feet here. Gregory comes away with it.
If they feed this out wide and fast, no, they won't. There was possible overlap out there for Great Britain on the right-hand side.
Yeah, Connolly, the 20-year-old winger from St Helens, takes the tackle. Making customer he is. Very flat, the British there, Gregory. The play continues. It goes to Lydon. Lydon for the line. He's been mowed down. Kevin Marty saves the day for Queensland. Great defence from the Townsville captain.
Get out of it, you two. Get out.
There's a bit of a punch-up on it back play as the British keep on the charge. This time it's Neil Cowie. An intercept. The Maroons come away with it. Kennedy will play it. Another big tackle coming in there. And a penalty goes to Queensland. The crowd all revved up at the Townsville Sports Reserve tonight.
Yeah, there's plenty of feeling going on those last couple of tackles there. It looked like things could have got out of hand again, and John Willie's and referee Willie's controlled it quite well. He's thrown the penalty to settle things down.
Yeah, Queensland leading the penalty 7-4, and they certainly would have enjoyed that one. The kick has found touch just inside Great Britain territory. Marty to take the tap restart. It goes to Groff. Pike. Pike's taken there by Fairbank. Groff misses out one. It goes to Kennedy. He's taken by Devereaux. Over the top, around the legs was Lee Jackson. Hetherington. Out for Hamilton. Oh, high tackle. He may well go here. Joe Lydon will be called out, I'm sure. The Queenslanders are calling for immediate attention from the bench. The touch judges come in. It's all happening. We'll look on the replay here. This will be very interesting. The Queensland player still down in back play. We're not too sure who it is. We look here on the replay. The ball comes out. Well, judge for yourself.
Well, he's taken him without the ball. He's gone high, and Andy Gregory's in there. He saw what happened straight away, and he was talking to the referee before he had a chance to finish blowing the whistle. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. The least he should get anyhow is
on the
replay.
The
replay. He's taken him without the ball. He's definitely gone high. Well, I think he should have definitely got 10 minutes in the bin for that. That's a high tackle, and the international board want that stamped out as well. So that definitely warranted at least 10 minutes in the sin bin.
It's not the first time it's happened tonight either. But perhaps a few of the earlier ones were around the chest. Back to the action. Pike takes it forward for Queensland. 2.5 minutes to go till half-time. Queensland leading by 6 points to 4. Marty. Goes himself. Marty trying to pop the pass back. He's 21 metres out from the Great Britain line. Schultz is at dummy half. He's come up from fullback. He fires it out to Groff. Groff dummies back inside to the Queensland second rower in Clifford. Very slow play of the ball. We've seen quite a few of them tonight. Groff gets it out to Hetherington. Run around Groff. Another high tackle. Well, he's called it back for the knock-on, and I think rightly so. Ken Robertson losing the ball forward.
Yeah, it's chest high. The Great British side, their tackling tends to be a little higher, but there's only been, definitely one that should have been sin bin, but a lot of them have been just around the chest area, high chest, but they'll certainly find some strife when they get further south with those sort of tackles.
All right, Gregory gets it out to his back line now. Joe Lydon will play it. Back for Connolly. He only makes a couple of metres. Gregory to Edwards. They swing it wide. The British on the attack. Great play. They went forward though, and a great call, I think. Kevin Ellis, the Great Britain centre, setting up play. Andy Gregory, again, having a few words to say to the referee.
Andy Gregory's always got plenty to say to the referee. I've been on the paddock with him quite a few times. He just keeps chatting away and trying to look after his side as best he can.
The half-time siren has sounded here at the Townsville Sports Reserve. The Maroons are up by 6-4. Set move as the lock forward for Queensland. Craig Spark breaks from the scrum. And that is half-time. Queensland go into the break, leading Great Britain by 6 points to 4. And an exciting first half of football, Barry Gummersall.
Well, that was exceptionally good first half for Queensland. I think the coach, Ross O'Reilly from Central Queensland, has done an excellent job with the young side. They're more committed in their play. There's more urgency in their play. Their kicking downfield is a lot better, and they're putting more pressure on the Great Britain side.
OK, we'll take a break and return soon to the Townsville Sports Reserve for the second half. The Sports Reserve comes alive tonight for this international match. Tremendous pictures from Castle Hill as John Willie gets planned away in the second half of tonight's international. Taken by Schultz for Queensland. It's been given to Pike. He winds up. And again, he's been pushed back. Great driving defence, and the referee has called held. The penalty is going to Queensland. The crowd certainly getting very vocal, so perhaps the Great Britain player there didn't hear the call of the referee.
A big chance of that, Jason, with the noise going on out there. He wouldn't have heard it, and the defence just kept pushing him back. But Great Britain are going to have to be a lot more fired up in this second half.
So Queensland take the tap restart. Kennedy takes it forward for the Maroons. Marty a dummy half, and Ian Chapman has spoken to both coaches, or I believe he's spoken to the Great Britain coach at half-time.
Malcolm really has told his players he wants more commitment, more enthusiasm. He wants them to use the corners. He wants to try and get down into those dark areas where they scored the last try. And for the Queensland side, I haven't spoken to Ross O'Reilly yet, but there is a change. Steve Mills is on for Steele Retchless.
Mills coming on for Richless, and Mills are very much one of the heroes for the Capitals in their State League final win over North Queensland. He'll certainly add a bit of steel to the Queensland side in the second half. Connolly takes it out for the Great Britain side, and a good chasing game there from Kenny Robertson and also Hetherington. The new player on for Great Britain, Dennis Betts, in jersey number 17. He's wrestled to the ground. Penalty to the Lions.
Queensland well up inside the 5 metres then. There was no option. Play was coming to that side.
Queensland now on the defensive as Great Britain kick for touch. Sean Edwards has found touch about 40 metres out from the Queensland line. Jackson takes the tap restart. It goes to the prop forward for Great Britain in Ian Lucas. He'll play it back for Jackson. This is Cowie. Cowie is taken by Kennedy. 24 out from the Queensland line. McGinty back inside for Fairbank. He's taken, trying to get up quickly, but a penalty goes to the Lions. Holding the tackle player down is the ruling from Mr. Willie.
Well, I thought in his first half his play the ball rucks were a bit shabby. There was far too much time involved in holding the player down. And obviously he's touched judges, and he had a talk at half-time, and he's come out in the second half now to clean up those play-the-ball rucks, so we might get to open, entertaining football.
All right, Ian Chapman is down the sideline. He has spoken to the Queensland coach, Ross O'Reilly.
Ross O'Reilly is pretty happy with his side. He said he deliberately went out in the first half on a lower key. There was a few nerves there. He didn't want that too much to go wrong, but he's pretty happy with the half-time score, of course. He's looking for the side to go up one gear in the second half. He reckons if they hustle and bustle enough, they'll win this match, and I tend to agree with him.
All right, John Devereaux moves in, trying to raise the flags. He's had the horrors with the boot tonight. No goal once more. 6-4, the scoreline remains in favour of Queensland. So a bad miss for the British. The restart into open spaces will be picked up by Connolly. He runs across field, he beats one. He takes on Robertson, but he sticks to him.
And Connolly plays it back. Full-back with Lydon has obviously been replaced by the look of it.
And Gregory's still out there for Great Britain. Here comes McGinty, the lock forward, surging ahead for the Lions. Makes about 8 metres. Taken by Clifford. Lucas. The pass goes to nobody. It's picked up off the ground by Paul Newlove. Final tackle for the Lions. Edwards with a kick across field. Alan Hunt's coming through. Pressure on Queensland. It's been socked off the ground. This could be a try. No. Great cover defence from the Maroons. John Devereaux was looking for a try in the corner, but it's been cleaned up by Brett Schultz.
Queensland very lucky there that the try wasn't scored against them. The bounce of the ball just didn't quite go Great Britain's way, and good covering there by Queensland to prevent the try.
So Queensland under pressure once more. Another 6 tackles to come Great Britain's way. 5 minutes gone in the second half. The Maroons are up by 6-4 as we look on the replay. That was great scrambling from Schultz. Hunt runs it back towards the Queensland line.
Great Britain showing more urgency and more commitment in running the ball up in this start of this second half. Their forwards are gaining ground, which they weren't doing in the first half.
Dennis Betts will certainly inject quite a lot of enthusiasm in this Great Britain side in the second half, Barry.
They certainly will.
The Lions about 20 metres out from the Queensland line. Cowie to play it back. Lucas turns it back to Gregory. They keep it alive. It goes to Fairbank. They've lost it. Knocked forward is the ruling.
Well, I don't know what's happening there. Andy Gregory, every time he seems to pass the ball in this match, that's about the 4th time he's passed them. Whether his passes are too hard or too fast, or the players just can't hold them. But there didn't seem to be anything wrong with that pass.
Groff comes away with it. Gives it to Peter Hamilton for Queensland. He's knocked over. Back for Hetherington. Clifford takes it the blind side before he's driven back by the Lions defence. McGinty affecting the tackle along with Dennis Betts. Queensland on the attack again.
That's better defence from Great Britain. The big fellow was stopped in his tracks on that occasion.
Good ball back inside there to the replacement player for Queensland and Steve Mills, but he goes to ground. Groff kicking for touch. Connolly rushing back to pick it up. The chasers can't put him down. He gets the ball back for Hunt. Almost an obstruction. Hunt flirting with the sideline and just stays in the field of play. Marty doing his best to put him over the touchline. Gregory hands it on there to the prop forward for the Lions and Cowie. Cowie going forward.
Cowie having a good game. That was a good run. He's made about 15 metres on that occasion.
Back for Jackson. Gregory running the ball. Back in field now. This is a good run from Dennis Betts, Ian Chapman.
It's true, Dennis Betts came on at half-time and the coach is using him as the secret weapon. He's used Dennis's big reputation to pump up the whole side, and it's working.
Paul Newlove in now. Paul Newlove bringing it around for the Lions. Try time.
That was good football from Great Britain there. They went for the Queensland's back line. They drew the man in, fired back inside, which resulted in 4 points to Great Britain.
Yeah, the Queenslanders going to sleep, and the Lions quick to capitalise. They lead 8-6. We see on the replay the ball coming back. Actually, it's gone to McGinty.
Well, that's the sort of rugby league we expect from Great Britain. Throwing that ball around, they've got to do a lot more of that in this second half if they're going to come away with this game.
So the Lions... Devereaux's kick again misses. Well, what can I say? No goal. Score remains Great Britain 8, Queensland 6. We'll take a break. Be back soon. So the job ahead for Queensland now, Barry Gummersall, down by 2.
That's true. They're down by 2, Jason, but on the same token, they're a young side. They'll step up a gear as their coach requires of them in the second half, and I think they'll do well.
And what about the goal kicking, Barry?
Well, I think the less said about that, the better. We might have to go out and do it ourselves for them.
For sure, as Edwards sends it out to Betts. He certainly got involved in the second half. Dennis Betts, the strong man from the Wigan club. A long way from Central Park, but he's certainly on fire in the early stages of the second half. A great bust now from Lucas in the clear. Back, the plenty of support. Sean Edwards now with a chance to score. He'll go all the way. Sean Edwards brings it around, and another try to the Lions.
That was brilliant football from Great Britain. They've scored that from well inside their own half. Cut the man out. Take on the defence, pass back inside, and Sean Edwards backing up. It was an absolutely brilliant try.
Look on the replay. Lucas gets the ball back for Connolly, and Sean Edwards, the veteran 5'8", beating the cover defence. Desperate tackle there from Craig Spark, but he wasn't up to it. Edwards showing a clean set of heels and puts it down for a vital try. It's 12-6 now after just 10 minutes of play in the second half, and the Lions already starting to pick up a gear. And now a chance now, Ian Chapman, for John Devereaux to put this one over. Plenty of pressure on him this time as well. Devereaux moves in. This time he gets it right. The British fans celebrate as he raises the flags. Great Britain 14, Queensland 6.
Well, Great Britain have certainly moved up a gear in this second half. They must have had quite a tongue lashing in the dressing room at half-time, because that's the sort of rugby league, exciting, open, entertaining rugby league that we come to expect from touring sides.
Queensland now down by 8 points. And the Lions starting to get their act together. Gerard Kerr restarts play, taken by Gregory. He gives it to Hunt. And the game perhaps starting to slip away from Queensland, Ian Chapman.
Well, it's not looking good at this stage. I was just talking to one of the Queensland officials, very happy, and 2 minutes later, not so happy. But there's always the chance of a comeback.
Penalty's going to Great Britain now, and referee Willie, well, at least he's consistent, Barry Gummersall.
That's correct. He did the same thing down the other end to Great Britain. Now, same thing happened again. The player obviously didn't hear him call held, and so the penalty goes to Great Britain. And as you say, it's consistency.
The Lions have found touch. Craig Groff having a lot to say there, the Queensland captain. The second line of defence as the Lions get ready for the tap restart. Hunt takes it forward from the wing. Taken there in good Queensland defence. Lucas, who's had a blinder for Great Britain tonight, setting up the last try and still going forward, Barry.
Lucas is leading by example. That's what they lacked in the first half. Queensland forwards won the match in the first half, won the battle, but now Great Britain are proving that they've got a good set of forwards also.
The replacement player for the Lions, Paul Newlove, plays it. Jackson back for Gregory. The kick now from the Lions. Sean Edwards between fullback and wing for Queensland, and should go dead in goal. The very short in goal areas here at the Townsville Sports Reserve, so the play will come back. Schultz brings the ball back to the 22-metre line for a tap restart, and the Queenslanders in no hurry. Pike goes forward himself. Queensland need runners, Barry.
They need runners. I think Stephen Bell is sitting on the sideline there. He's the sort of person they need now in the forward pack. He can bust them up the centre and create some tremendous gaps.
Yeah, tear away lock forward from the Serena club. He'd be itching to get a go out there.
He certainly would.
Groff now sets up the play. Cut out pass. Queensland going backwards on this occasion. Hamilton away from dummy half. He zips away and makes about 5 metres before he's tackled by the British front rower, Cowie. The kick from Groff, a hurried kick, bouncing Queensland's way. Connolly has lost it.
And he's offside.
Was he offside? Yes, he was. Good call, Barry Gummersall. And the snake pit goes wild over there under the big tree. Queensland looking for a quick tap.
Take a quick tap here. No, it's too late now.
Yeah, the Lions starting to regroup. Queensland settling the play. And anxious moments there for Great Britain, Ian Chapman.
It's true, but it looks like we're going to take the kick there after all. I thought it was a quick tap. Meanwhile, on the English side, it looks like Neil Cowie is the man that's making the mileage. He's got the best yardage figures for the game, and he's a prop forward, while Lee Jackson, the hooker, in the second half is doing best with the tackles.
Yes, Jackson from the Hull club, and he'd certainly be pushing his claims for Test selection tonight, as Queensland winger Gerard Kerr lines up this shot at goal. We can see the angle there. It's not too difficult. And Queensland 8 points off the pace. If he puts this one over, brings Queensland within a converted try of Great Britain, Barry.
Certainly does. I think a quick play the ball there would have resulted in possibly 6 points there for Queensland, but we needed a playmaker out there, someone that could think a little bit quicker, and we certainly would have scored either side of the ruck.
Okay, Gerard Kerr with the pressure on him. He's equal to the occasion. No trouble. He raises the flags. Queensland back in the ball game. Great Britain 14, Queensland 8. We'll take a break. Return soon to the Townsville Sports Reserve. Now, only up by 6 after that goal by Kerr. The crowd getting a little bit more vocal. as the play restarts. Schultz takes it calmly. So Queensland inside their own 22-metre zone. Groff. This is a good run from the Queensland centre there. And Ken Robertson. Big run coming in from the Queensland prop rower. Eric Kennedy takes it forward. Back for Marty. Groff puts the kick in. It's a good one too. Connolly has to go back very fast to retrieve the football from inside the in-goal zone. And what a chase it is. Well, could have been an obstruction. Great footwork from Connolly. He's done remarkably well.
Excellent football. He done extremely well, just short of the quarter line. That's good football.
Yeah, the lanky centre gets played just short of that 22-metre zone, 22-metre line. Gregory quick to, Sean Edwards quick to go into dummy half. No one there on this occasion. Dennis Betts for the Lions. He's taken by Matt Clifford. Great Britain leading by 14-8. As Jackson takes it away, Ian Chapman.
Well, it looks like we've got a change for the Queensland side. Matty Clifford's going to be coming off sometime soon. Steve Bella will be taking the field, an impact player. We're looking for big things from Steve Bella.
Yes, perhaps the Mark Geyer of North Queensland, Stephen Bella, very much gets involved as soon as he gets on the field. Well, the referee is going to an award and a penalty here. I think he was waiting to see if Queensland got any advantage there, Barry.
Yeah, he was. He took the quick tap. The player was offside at the play the ball ruck, grabbed him by the collar of the jersey to hold him back. So silly stuff there from Great Britain. Been a few silly penalties tonight from the players, and I don't think either coach would be too happy with some of them.
And the crowd's still revved up here at the Townsville Sports Reserve. 25 minutes to go. Kennedy takes it up for Queensland. Wrestled to the ground on the first tackle. 26 out from the Great Britain try line. Groff gives it to, well, it doesn't go to Clifford, it goes to Pike, and Pike tries to bust them, but he's upended. What a tackle. He's lost the ball, and Jackson comes away with it. He swings it out now. This is the replacement player for Great Britain in Paul Newlove. So Queensland losing the ball, and Great Britain back on the attack.
That was good defence there, a good hit to force the loss of the ball, and they've made good yardage. The new player on Newlove has gained about 15 to 20 yards in that run.
Yeah, it certainly relieves the pressure on the Lions. Jackson to Gregory. Gregory dummies going across field. Long cut-out pass. It goes to Connolly. Connolly, the big centre. Away he goes. Connolly floats it out. A speculator to Alan Hunt, but he's lost it. It went forward.
Well, this game certainly stepped up a gear since the first half, Jason. There's a lot better football from Great Britain and from Queensland. That was a pretty poor pass on that occasion. It's flying far too high. The player up in the air looking for it. You'd have to be a basketball player or an Aussie rules player to pull that down.
Yeah, he might have got a contract with the Gold Coast Rollers there had he got that one. So Queensland pick up the ball through the scrum, and now a penalty. So the Maroons hoping to get up towards that halfway line. Change for Queensland, Ian Chapman.
That's right, Steve Bella's just taken the field for Matty Clifford, and it looks like Skerritt, the reserve forward. Kelvin Skerritt from Wigan is taking the field. The player leaving for Britain, I'm not sure of at this stage. It looks like it must be Ian Lucas taking off. The prop forwards have changed over.
Okay, up goes for Queensland there is Bradley Pike. He's surging forward as Queensland swing it wide. The run around, it comes across to Craig Groff, I think it is. And he's tackled just inside Great Britain territory. Scrappy play the ball. Balla was looking for it on the blind sides, but he misses out this time. He's keen to get involved. Groff at dummy half. Gives it to Kennedy. He's Brisbane teammate. Kennedy goes forward. The pass goes back to Craig Spark. Play on, says referee Willie. Only just could have went forward, perhaps, that pass. The little chip over the top from Hetherington. It's going to be well read by Connolly. Great positional play. He tries to stand up the defence. Flirting with the sideline again. Just stays in the field of play. Couple of good fends there from the British centre in Kevin Ellis. But he's put to the ground. The Lions going forward through Jackson.
There's a good run upfield from Jackson there from dummy half. He's made a good 10 to 15 metres again and caught the defence napping.
All right, Calvin Skerritt now, the new man on for Great Britain, as Ian Chapman called it. He's on. And immediately a mistake as Skerritt takes it forward and makes a good yard gainer. Gregory has lost the ball. Andy Gregory coughs up the football. Now Queensland with a chance, looking for a converted try to lock up the ball game. Groff goes himself.
Andy Gregory not having a very happy game tonight at all. He's had an absolute shocker.
Spark gives it to Bella. Bella takes on the British defence.
I think the Bella and Skerritt clash should prove interesting in this match because they're both fiery players. Skerritt's the tough man of British League, and he spent quite a bit of time facing judiciaries.
Queensland now. Could that be a penalty? Yes, no. Well, we've seen it before in the Winfield Cup in recent times, milking the penalty. Barry Gummersall, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that one could have been milked there. We'll just have a look at this on replay. I thought to start with, Queensland could have possibly been given that penalty because the player was laying in the middle of the play, the ball ruck, and the ball was played back onto his legs.
Yes, the Queensland 5'8", Jason Hetherington goes to ground on the tackle. And you can see they're still lying on him. Taking a long, long time. Bit of a push and
all right,
shove.
now there he is. He's straight underneath him there and made no attempt to get out of the way. So a pretty tough call on Queensland there, I thought.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there, Barry. But the Lions have the ball. That's the main thing. And Skerritt will play it about 8 metres short of the halfway line. Well, that went forward, and it's intentionally forward.
That's definite penalty.
John Willie picks up on that one, and a good call, Barry.
Yes, I think anybody would have called that one. That wasn't hard to do. It was right in front of him.
Queensland leading the penalties by 13-8. So plenty of possession there for the Maroons, Barry.
Yeah, a lot of stoppages though. What are you looking at? 21 penalties in a match. It's far too many. I don't think either coach would be happy with that. Too many elementary mistakes.
Marty takes the tap restart. Groff, it goes to Pike, and Pike is tackled by the Great Britain second rower, Carl Fairbank. Groff, no one there on the blind side. He has to go himself. I'm sure Ross O'Reilly wouldn't be happy with that. The little fella takes the tackle. Marty away from dummy half. He takes on the defence. He stands on the tackle. 3 of them there. A couple of fists going in there perhaps, but the crowd saw something. And he's pinned them from inside the 5. Ian Chapman, Great Britain, too quick up.
Yes, Jason, it's a situation over here where Ross O'Reilly's right involved with the game. I'm trying to get his comments on the penalty count at this stage. I'll come back to you soon. And
Barry, Queensland going for the shot at goal once more.
Yeah, that 5-metre penalty once again there. It's a bit of a shame. The game started to really fire up in the second half. Now we've had quite a few penalties throwing around, which disjoints the game. It stops the flow of the game. I think a little bit more talk by the referee out there would pull a few of those penalties, or cancel them out.
So Queensland trailing by 6 at this stage, 14-8. And Gerard Kerr, the safe, reliable goal kicker he is, he's recovered well from that early knock, Barry.
He has. Hasn't affected his kicking either. I think the Pommies might sign him up for the rest of the tour. They certainly need a kicker.
They sure do. Could be it. So Kerr has this one set once more. He strikes it. Okay. It's a goal. Queensland 10, Great Britain 14. We'll take a break and return to the Townsville Sports Reserve right after this message. The Lions now letting Queensland back into the game with silly penalties, Barry. Only 4 points the difference now.
Yeah, those mistakes you can't afford to make. They make those mistakes against Australia. We'll certainly capitalise on them too. And
Andy Gregory making an exit to...
Well, that's not before time. I thought he would have been replaced at half-time because he's had an absolutely shocker of a game. And it's certainly not like Andy Gregory. We all know he can play better than that. And
Ian Chapman on the sideline. Andy Gregory getting a rousing reception there as he leaves the field.
Yes, all the crowd fairly keen on that move. Well, it looked like it was, as Barry said, a little bit overdue. Derek Fox is the player replacing him on the field. And I've just spoken to Ross O'Reilly, who's fairly happy with his side still. He believes there's been too many infringements from the British side, and that's why the penalty count is where it is. He's hoping that the frustration will tell on them and his side will take advantage.
Derek Fox from the Featherston Rovers Club, 27-year-old halfback, and he's played 13 tests for Great Britain, so he's no slouch when it comes to big-time rugby league, and perhaps he might be in this the first test team to play Australia in a few weeks' time. The Lions forced to defend now as Groff gets the kick downfield, looking for touch.
But once again, the Queensland taxis turn them around and make them work their way out. That will tell on them. The frustration, I agree with the penalties too. There's nothing there they should complain about. The frustration will build up, and Queensland will keep turning them around and making them work their way out, and that will tell towards the end. And Queensland are looking quite good at this stage, even though they're behind.
So a scrum will pack about 27 metres out from the Great Britain line. The Lions, of course, have the loose head and feed. Derek Fox working the scrum for the first time tonight. And he immediately picks up the centre, Kevin Ellis, from the Warrington club. Fox. Paul Newlove plays it back. Juggle coming in there from the big fella in Skerritt. Skerritt standing in the tackle. He doesn't offload. He's still going down. He should have got it away, surely.
I thought a player of his calibre would have tried to get that ball away. He had plenty of time.
Dennis Betts now for the Lions.
Dennis Betts having a big game tonight. Oh, gee, he's done well.
Yep. Coming in, a late starter in this side as a replacement following the non-eligibility of Michael Jackson for Great Britain. Final tackle for the Lions. The kick from Fox has Schultz going back. He picks it up on the first bounce, and a wall of white and blue comes down to meet the Queensland fullback. Queensland trailing by 14 points to 10. It's 15 minutes to go as the Maroons make a break. Great run from the Queensland winger.
And he was all on his own too. He should have had somebody there with him.
Troy White coming to life in the latter stages. Schultz now taken out wide by Fox. Groff gives it to Craig Spark, and he's trying to ignite the attack. And Ian, I believe you're talking with a man who's had a love-hate relationship with the Australian Rugby League crowd.
That's true. Andy Gregory's right here beside me. Andy, how do you feel about your game?
It's not too bad, you know. It's my first game for close on 5 weeks, so obviously the injury just started playing up the last 10 minutes, so, you know, Malcolm did the right decision and took me off.
Thanks very much.
Okay, the replacement for Andy Gregory, Derek Fox, feeds the scrum. Bit of a goose step there from the Great Britain replacement. Or rather, it's the 5'8", Sean Edwards.
I think if Great Britain to win this match, Edwards and Fox are going to have to combine more like that. They play very well together.
Fox gets it across to Jackson. Jackson in centre field, 23 out from the Queensland line. The ball goes back. Fox has to pick it up. The Lions starting to roar. They're up by 4. They need another try to secure the win. 13 minutes to go on the clock. Edwards flings it out. The runners are coming through. This is Carl Fairbank. He's
Excellent
only about
run.
7 metres out.
Excellent. And that's. I thought that might have been penalty time there. It looked like that ball was reefed out.
The Great Britain side, they're not impressed with that decision. The scrum feed going Queensland's way.
Yeah, it's very difficult for a player laying on the ground to throw the ball out like that.
Yeah. So the Queensland will feed the scrum. Groff goes himself. Safety first football from the Brisbane North halfback. He's taken by replacement player there, Dennis Betts. Good run from Schultz. The teenager takes play to the 22-metre line. Bella chopped down.
It's good football from Queensland. 3 rucks and they're over the quarter line.
And a change coming up for Queensland, Ian Chapman.
We've got Neil Smith from Central Queensland coming on. He's replacing Peter Hamilton, the centre from Wayne Bay.
So Smith on for Hamilton as Queensland go downtown through Schultz. And this isn't a bad kick from Schultz. It's going to bounce right in front of Connolly, who perhaps was hoping that to do a bit of a leg break. But Connolly stood up a couple of players there. He's still going. This is a great work from the lanky centre.
He's had a good game since he's been switched to fullback. Every time he's got that ball, he's done extremely well and gained plenty of yards.
Ellis plays it back, takes it, well, actually goes forward. No marker there. Fox. It comes out to Dennis Betts. Betts takes the tackle, looking perhaps there for Jackson, but he goes to ground thanks to Kevin Marty. The chip over the top from the Lions. Dangerous time for Queensland. It's come off Brett Schultz's ankle. Good call from referee John Willey. He didn't miss a trick on that occasion.
Now, it was a good call there. There's a possibility of penalty to Queensland there because I think the chasers took one of the Queenslanders out before he got near the ball.
Sloppy play of the ball on this occasion. Kennedy takes it forward for the Maroons. They're only down by 4. 10 minutes to go, so the clock's starting to wind down. The Maroons desperately need a try. Marty's coughed it up. You don't see that all that often.
Queensland. They could have done without that error at this stage of the game.
Yeah, Kevin Marty certainly would have been too impressed with his own mistake. McGinty takes it forward for the Lions. Jackson a dummy half. Hunt comes in from the wing. He's been taken by Marty just outside the 22-metre line. Jackson, Edwards, it comes to Betts. Betts, the ball's gone through and it's been taken. A late tackle perhaps there. The Queensland side comes up with it. Spark, upended. Great Britain very short on this open side. Queensland swing it that way. Here comes Steve Bella. He winds up, but he can't bust them. He's been chopped down by Jackson. Also in the tackle for the Lions was Cowie. Queensland's lost it. It went back, says Willie. Here comes the winger, Troy White. Final tackle for the Maroons. Stephen Bella, a dummy half. He distributes back to Groff. He steals about 7 metres. That's good thinking from the Queensland captain. He puts the kick in.
And once again, Great Britain are down inside their own quarter, and it's up to Connolly to run them out, which he has done every occasion since he's been a fullback. And here he goes again. He's beaten the first 2 tacklers once again.
Yeah, they've had plenty of trouble trying to stop him. The chase has not up to it. Hunt dummies. He sucks one in, and Neil Smith, but Craig Groff gets him. Cowie for the Lions gets it to the halfway line. 9 minutes to go. The Lions up by 14 points to 10. Sean Edwards gets it across to Calvin Skellett. Edwards puts the kick in for the Lions. It's not a bad kick, a low trajectory kick. Schultz has to go back and pick up just outside his own try line. He runs right across field. He'll be chopped down right in front of the goal mouth. What a chase, Barry Gummerson.
That was an excellent chase there. That was the difference between Queensland's chasing. Connolly's beaten the first 2 tacklers every time.
And a penalty to the Maroons.
And a nice relieving penalty that one is. 10 metres out from their own line.
For sure. And the Maroons have found touch just outside their own danger zone. Queensland leading the penalty count 15-8, so they've enjoyed plenty of possession. 23 penalties, and as Barry said, that's a lot for an international match. The Maroons swing it wide. It goes to Pike. Pike takes on the defence, but he's put down by McGinty.
I did some good solid hits out there tonight. There'll be a few sore boys tomorrow. That defence has been extremely good.
Marty a dummy half, looking for a quick play of the ball back from Stephen Mills. Hetherington. Queensland's swing it wide, and he's been put into touch. Well, it's a penalty to the Maroons. The touch judge raises his flag, but referee Willie will have no bar of it. He says it's a penalty. And Ian Chapman is on the sideline. He's talking to QRL Northern Division boss and ARL board member Ben Wall.
Ben, you must be pretty happy with the game so far.
Yes, it's it's been we could have got a bigger crowd, but I don't think we've done too bad.
Any idea on the actual number here tonight?
Well, I'd say it'd be around 5,000.
Not a bad crowd for Townsville.
I think it's a good crowd.
Hopefully we'll get a win, huh?
There's a bit of time to go yet.
Back to you, Jason.
Yeah, speaking of time, just on 6 minutes to go. And the Maroons looking for that try to lock up the ball game. Marty now getting involved. He goes forward. He takes them on. He bumps off one. He puts the pass back to nobody. Well, I thought it went back. It went back, dead back.
Well, I think the referee erred on this occasion, to quote one of my counterparts.
And a critical call at that, because Queensland were in a chance there to
Queensland were with a chance there. That ball definitely went backwards, and there was only a couple of Great Britain players out on this side, and we had 3 Queenslanders. So that was a very critical call.
And Ian Chapman, another change there for Queensland.
Yeah, it looks like number 5, which is Gerard Kerr, is coming off and taking the field. I'll have to come back to you with that one.
Another Queensland player's down, the opposite winger for the Maroons in Troy White. He's down in back play. 14-10 the score in favour of Great Britain. Just over 5 to go. Edwards gets it out to Betts. The Lions keeping it alive.
Oh, that's a shame. If he'd have got that pass away where there was two Great Britain players out on that wing that had open country in front of him.
Betts again. He's got heavily involved in the second half since he's come on.
And look at that, another good run by Betts. He's certainly been the pick of the players out there tonight.
The Lions swing it wide. The kick goes back for Schultz. He picks it up. He's had a lot of work tonight, Brett Schultz, from the Clydesdales. And he gets it back to the 22
returning
line.
the complement of the first half. They're doing the same tactics now. They're keeping the ball down in Queensland's end whenever they get the chance now.
New player on for Queensland. It's Neil Smith, I think it is. The crowd appeal for the penalty. Well, you can see it on your own sets at home. Marty takes it forward for the Maroons. Smith, a dummy half, goes to Groff. It comes out now to the lock forward in Spark, and Spark tries to offload, but he takes the tackle eventually. Too much defence, and another change, Ian Chapman.
That's right. It's Paul Fisher, the reserve back from Brisbane, taking the place of Gerard Kerr after it looks like he's hurt himself a bit of a knee injury, as well as the earlier cut to the brow. Not a happy game for Gerard Kerr.
All right, Alan Hunt has made a bit of a bust. He gets the pass back to Connolly, and they've made a mess of it again. It's another turnover. Queensland ball. The Lions losing it on the first tackle.
Well, that was costly for the Lions too, because I believe that quick play of the ball ruck, Queensland was slow getting back on defence, and it could have been try time. Another penalty here to Queensland. Interfering in the play of the ball ruck. They won't be happy with this penalty count, Great Britain. But they've got only themselves to blame.
Making the most of that penalty, Barry. He gets play up to the halfway line. Time running out for the Queenslanders, though. 3 minutes to go on the clock.
They can still do it.
Kennedy is trying to get them there. He takes it forward. That's a good, solid run from Eric Kennedy. And the crowd do get behind him. Groff sends it out to Hetherington. He runs across field. He links up with one of his forwards running wide of the ruck. Groff turns it back inside to Troy White, who's come in from the flank. I think he might be playing centre now, perhaps.
I think at this time of the match, Queensland should be feeding their wingers. That's their only chance they're going to get through this.
Groff puts the kick in. Coming through is Neil Smith, the central Queensland winger. Connolly back inside his in-goal area. He will get out. Yes,
Once
he
again,
does.
Excellent play from Connolly. He's had a great match tonight. He's obviously a better fullback than he is at the centre.
Yeah, despite the best of efforts from Stephen Ballard to pin him inside that in-goal area, he has got out, and that means so much for this Great Britain side with only 2 minutes to go.
It certainly does. Stephen Ballard getting involved in the game.
And Ian Chapman, you're speaking to one player who certainly will be one of the enemies for Australia in this coming Test series.
That's right. Rated as the most dangerous player in the side, Martin Afire. Martin, would you like to be out there right now?
Well, it's pretty tight. We've just got to try and hang on. Obviously, when you see the boys doing a bit tough, they'd like to be out there, but, we've got confidence in the guys.
What about the penalties? Obviously going well against Great Britain there.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes, you get caned when you come out to a place like this. But, we've just got to not complain and just get on with the game.
Charge down now. Back to the action. Queensland with a chance still. 14-10. Only 2 to go on the clock. Roth gets it out to Hetherington. The two halves again trying to spark the Queensland attack.
And Queensland going up the middle again. They've got to go out to their wingers in these last couple of minutes if they're going to win it.
Kennedy. The Maroons coming home with a wet sail. Marty gets it out to big Stephen Mills. The crowd getting behind. The chant goes up.
Queensland winger out here screaming for the ball. Once again, they're up the middle.
Queensland is the chant. Nice tackle now for the Maroons. Long cut-out pass. It comes across to Paul Fisher. Fisher for the line. He's going to try and go himself. He's going to be held out. He's denied by the second rower, John Devereaux. Very fast second rower indeed is John Devereaux.
He certainly is. He should have got rid of that ball, though. There was a chance for the winger to go back inside.
6 to go. Picking the play of the ball. Don't know if the referee signalled it, but the Lions come away with it nevertheless.
And they'll play gamesmanship here too. They'll be very slow getting up to play this ball to count the clock down.
Only seconds remaining in tonight's international. 14-10, Queensland trailing. They need a miracle now to pull this game out of the fire. Sean Edwards goes himself in no real hurry, puts a hooky kick over the top there. It's bouncing around for Schultz. Can he become a hero for Queensland and score a full length of the field try? There goes the full-time hooter. Queensland has defeated the Lions, or rather, Great Britain has defeated Queensland by 14 points to 10. The Lions very scrappy and lacklustre. Queensland missing out by just 4, Barry.
Yes, the Queensland were unlucky. Like we say, Great Britain played a bit lacklustre. Well, I've got to give full credit to the Queensland side. They're a young side. They're well coached by Ross O'Reilly, and they did an exceptionally good job out there against an international side. So